From Elvis to Freddie, the music industry has seen countless LGBTQ+ icons who shaped rock history while living complex personal lives. Join us as we unveil the fascinating stories behind 15 legendary musicians who challenged societal norms and paved the way for future generations. 1. Freddie Mercury, the voice that broke barriers. Freddie Mercury stands as one of rock's most legendary figures. As Queen's charismatic frontman, his extraordinary voice, electrifying stage presence, and timeless hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Will Rock You, and Somebody to Love cemented his place in music history. Yet behind the spotlight, Freddie's personal life remained largely veiled. Throughout his career, Mercury maintained a delicate balance between his public persona and private life. His relationship with Mary Austin, whom he called the love of my life, marked his early years. Their deep connection, though eventually shifting from romantic to platonic, inspired Queen's touching ballad Love of My Life. During Queen's peak success, Freddie remained notably private about his relationships with men. The rock industry of the time wasn't particularly welcoming to LGBTQ+ artists, yet Mercury let his music speak volumes. His artistry transcended boundaries, touching millions of fans who embraced his talent regardless of his personal life. 2. David Bowie, the shape-shifting icon.
That wasn't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive.
David Bowie wasn't just a musician, he was a cultural phenomenon who revolutionized music, fashion, and identity. His hits like Space Oddity, Heroes, and Life on Mars only scratched the surface of his impact. Bowie's influence extended far beyond music, making him the ultimate creative chameleon. In the 1970s, he boldly declared himself bisexual, shocking society when such admissions were nearly unheard of. His androgynous appearance, fearless stage presence, and alter egos like Ziggy Stardust challenged conventional gender norms, making him a beacon of hope for countless outsiders. Later in life, Bowie's relationship with his earlier statements became complex. He distanced himself from his bisexuality, describing it as a phase, leading to debates about whether his openness was genuine expression or calculated rebellion. Regardless, his fluid approach to identity and unwavering authenticity made him a pivotal figure in both rock and LGBTQ+ history. 3. Elton John, the flamboyant superstar. Elton John's legacy as a musical genius is undeniable. His powerful voice, masterful piano skills, and timeless classics like Rocket Man, Tiny Dancer, and Your Song have left an indelible mark on popular music. Behind his dazzling costumes and spectacular performances lies a story of personal transformation and acceptance. In the 1970s, Elton John made headlines not just for his music, but for a groundbreaking personal revelation. By publicly declaring himself bisexual, he took a bold step that few artists dared to take in an era when the music industry was far less accepting of LGBTQ+ individuals. This announcement, though significant, was just the beginning of his journey toward complete self-acceptance. Despite his openness, Elton still maintained a careful balance between his public and private life. The societal pressures of the time and concerns about potential career impacts led him to keep many aspects of his personal life guarded. After all, being openly queer during this period could mean facing significant professional and personal backlash. It wasn't until the 1990s that Elton embraced his true identity fully, publicly coming out as gay. This revelation marked a pivotal moment in both his personal journey and his role as an LGBTQ+ icon. His story became more than just about musical excellence. It transformed into a powerful narrative about breaking barriers and living authentically. 4. Rob Halford, metal's groundbreaking voice. Known as the Metal God, Rob Halford, Judas Priest's legendary frontman, helped define heavy metal with his powerful vocals and iconic leather-clad image. Through hits like Breaking the Law, You've Got Another Thing Coming, and Painkiller, he established himself as one of metal's most influential voices. However, beneath the commanding stage presence lay a deeply personal struggle. Halford navigated the hyper-masculine world of heavy metal while keeping his identity as a gay man private. In an industry and genre not known for its LGBTQ+ acceptance, he focused on letting his extraordinary vocal talents speak for themselves. The 1990s marked a turning point when Halford chose to come out in a groundbreaking interview. His decision sent shockwaves through the metal community and broke down long-standing stereotypes about masculinity in rock music. Since then, he's become a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, while continuing to prove that authenticity and heavy metal are perfectly compatible. 5. Mick Jagger, the enigmatic frontman.
I saw her today at the reception.
The Rolling Stones' iconic frontman Mick Jagger has always been surrounded by intrigue and speculation. His dynamic performances and unforgettable tracks like Paint It Black, Satisfaction, and Sympathy for the Devil helped define rock music, but it's his personal life that has often captured public attention. While famous for his relationships with women, including Bianca Jagger and Marianne Faithfull, Jagger's sexual identity has been the subject of ongoing speculation throughout his career. His flamboyant stage presence and complex personal life have contributed to his status as one of rock's most enigmatic figures. Throughout his career, rumors and speculation have swirled around Mick Jagger's personal life, particularly regarding his close relationships with other men. One of the most persistent stories involves his friendship with David Bowie, with whispers of a possible romantic connection between the two rock legends, though neither ever confirmed these claims. Jagger's appeal has always been rooted in his ability to challenge societal norms. His flamboyant style and provocative stage presence helped reshape rock culture into something bolder and more rebellious. During the 1970s, when the Rolling Stones were at their peak, public discussions about sexuality were far more restricted, especially for celebrities. Yet Jagger's willingness to blur gender lines and experiment with his image made him an icon of freedom and individuality. 6. Lou Reed, Walking on the Wild Side.
Pardon the question, are you a transvestite or a homosexual? Sometimes.
As the creative force behind the Velvet Underground, Lou Reed revolutionized rock music in the 1960s. Through hits like Sweet Jane and Heroin, he pushed musical boundaries while tackling taboo subjects that few dared to address. His legendary track Walk on the Wild Side celebrated New York's queer culture, openly referencing drag queens and alternative lifestyles at a time when such topics were rarely discussed in mainstream music. Despite his artistic openness, Reed maintained intense privacy about his personal life. While rumors circulated about his relationships with both men and women, he rarely addressed his orientation publicly. His early life included a particularly dark chapter. In the 1950s, before his rise to fame, Reed underwent electroshock therapy, reportedly at his parents' insistence, to cure his attraction to men. This traumatic experience deeply influenced his songwriting and shaped his perspective on identity and acceptance. 7. Joan Jett, the Queen of Noise. Joan Jett broke barriers as the founder of the Runaways and later as the leader of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Her powerful hits like I Love Rock and Roll, Bad Reputation, and Crimson and Clover established her as a force in rock music. Her androgynous style and fierce attitude challenged traditional gender roles in the male-dominated music industry. While speculation about her sexuality has persisted throughout her career, Jett has maintained her privacy, neither confirming nor denying the rumors. Instead, she's let her music speak for itself, creating anthems of rebellion and self-expression that particularly resonated with the LGBTQ+ community. Her leather jackets, spiky hair, and raw, empowering lyrics embodied the ultimate rock and roll rebellion, proving that authenticity and artistic expression transcend traditional boundaries. 8. George Michael, From Shadows to Freedom.
I feel so unsure.
George Michael stands as one of pop music's most influential figures, captivating audiences with his silky voice, irresistible charm, and chart-topping hits like Careless Whisper, Faith, and Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. His journey began in the vibrant 1980s as half of the dynamic duo Wham, where his talent and charisma helped launch him to global stardom. Yet beneath the spotlight's glare, George harbored a deeply personal secret. Throughout the height of his success, he kept his sexual identity private, understanding the potential career risks that being openly gay posed in the entertainment industry of the 1980s and 1990s. While his songs about love and heartbreak resonated with millions, his own romantic life remained carefully guarded from public view. The turning point came in 1998 when a public scandal forced him out of the closet. Though initially challenging, George later described this moment as liberating, allowing him to finally embrace his authentic self. He became an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, using his platform to support and inspire others facing similar journeys. 9. Billy Squier, rock's misunderstood virtuoso. Billy Squier emerged as one of rock's most gifted, yet overlooked artists, earning acclaim for his powerful vocals and exceptional guitar skills. His hits like The Stroke, Lonely as the Night, and My Kind of Lover dominated early 1980s rock radio and MTV, establishing him as a formidable presence in the music industry. However, his flamboyant stage presence and flashy style often led to speculation about his sexual identity. These rumors reached a crescendo with his 1984 Rock Me Tonight music video, where his theatrical dance moves and pastel-colored aesthetic sparked controversy and backlash from some fans. Despite the constant speculation, Squier never addressed the rumors about his orientation, choosing instead to let his music speak for itself. While the Rock Me Tonight video controversy marked a turning point in his career, Squier's influence on rock music remained undeniable. His songwriting prowess and guitar virtuosity continued to inspire countless artists, proving that true talent transcends gossip and speculation. Through hits like Everybody Wants You and In the Dark, he demonstrated that artistic merit should always outweigh public perception. 10. Annie Clark, St. Vincent's Modern Revolution.
Cause today I found my friends, they're in my head.
St. Vincent, the musical persona of Annie Clark, represents a new generation of boundary-pushing artists who challenge conventional norms through their art and identity. Annie Clark, better known by her stage name St. Vincent, has carved out a unique space in modern rock music. Her distinctive blend of indie rock and experimental sounds, coupled with powerful lyrics, has created a musical identity that defies conventional categorization. Through hits like Digital Witness, New York, and Birth in Reverse, she's established herself as an artist who consistently pushes musical boundaries while exploring complex themes in her songwriting. St. Vincent's approach to personal identity mirrors her artistic philosophy: fluid, unrestricted, and defiantly individual. While she's been open about her relationships with both men and women, she's consistently avoided applying specific labels to her identity. This resistance to categorization has become part of her appeal, making her a symbol for those who feel confined by traditional definitions and labels. 11. Michael Stipe, Rem and S enigmatic voice. As the lead singer of legendary band Rema, Michael Stipe helped define the sound of alternative rock throughout the 1980s and 1990s. His distinctive voice and poetic lyrics brought life to iconic tracks like Losing My Religion, Everybody Hurts, and Shiny Happy People, which resonated with millions worldwide. Despite his fame, Stipe maintained a carefully guarded private life during REM-S peak years. While rumors circulated about his sexuality, he chose to keep his personal life separate from his public persona. It wasn't until the 1990s that he officially came out, revealing his attraction to both men and women. This decision was deeply personal, made when he felt the time was right rather than in response to external pressure. Stipe's coming out during an era when LGBTQ+ representation in rock was scarce proved groundbreaking. His authenticity and openness about his identity helped change the conversation around LGBTQ+ musicians in rock and roll, showing that living truthfully doesn't require compromising artistic integrity or career success. 12. Pete Townshend, The Who's guitar revolutionary. Pete Townshend, the legendary guitarist and songwriter for The Who, stands as one of rock's most influential figures. His energetic performances, powerful guitar riffs, and timeless compositions like Baba O'Reilly, My Generation, and Pinball Wizard helped shape the sound of the 1960s and 1970s. The Who's explosive music, combined with Townshend's unique guitar techniques and songwriting prowess, created a template for generations of rock musicians to follow. Pete Townshend's unique style and electrifying stage presence made him a central figure in rock history. Throughout his career with The Who, he maintained an air of mystery around his personal life, particularly regarding his identity and relationships. His occasional cryptic statements in interviews led to widespread speculation about his attractions, with fans wondering if Townshend's romantic interests extended beyond traditional boundaries. Rather than directly addressing these speculations, Townshend chose to focus on his artistry. In rare moments when he discussed personal matters, he expressed a fluid approach to attraction, describing himself as someone drawn to people rather than specific genders. This ambiguity, whether intentional or not, resonated with many who felt constrained by conventional labels. 13. Kevin Abstract, Breaking Hip-Hop Barriers.
What's up, Coachella? I'm just trying to get these bands up.
As the creative force behind Brockhampton, Kevin Abstract has revolutionized contemporary music by seamlessly blending hip-hop, pop, and R&B. His emotional depth shines through in hits like Sugar and Boogie, showcasing his raw talent for capturing complex feelings in his music. Early in his career, Abstract struggled with his identity in an industry dominated by hypermasculine ideals. Hip-hop's traditionally conservative stance toward LGBTQ+ artists initially led him to keep his orientation private. However, his eventual decision to come out as gay marked a watershed moment in hip-hop history, making him one of the genre's first openly gay prominent figures. Through his music and public presence, Abstract has become a powerful voice for change. His lyrics openly explore themes of love, identity, and the challenges of navigating a traditionally unwelcoming industry. His commitment to authenticity has made him an influential role model for young LGBTQ+ artists in hip-hop. 14. Dusty Springfield, Soul's Hidden Queen.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy.
Dusty Springfield's powerful voice and emotional delivery made her one of music's most beloved icons. Her hits like Son of a Preacher Man, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, and Wishin' and Hopin' showcased her unique ability to blend pop, soul, and jazz influences. With her signature blonde beehive and dramatic makeup, she became an unmistakable figure of the 1960s. Despite her public prominence, Springfield kept her personal life intensely private, particularly her relationships. In an era when being openly gay could destroy a career, she carefully guarded her identity. While she maintained relationships with women throughout her life, these connections remained hidden from public view until much later in her career, when changing social attitudes allowed her to be more open about her true self. Dusty Springfield's journey toward authenticity marked a pivotal moment in both music history and LGBTQ+ representation. Coming out as gay in the 1980s, when the LGBTQ+ community still faced significant challenges in gaining acceptance, Springfield demonstrated remarkable courage. By then, her musical legacy was firmly established, and her openness about her identity helped create a path for future generations of LGBTQ+ artists to follow. Her story exemplifies the complex struggles many artists face during an era when being true to oneself often meant risking everything. Despite these challenges, Springfield's influence on music and culture remained undeniable, and her authenticity resonated deeply with both her devoted fans and the LGBTQ+ community. Her experience proved that even in times of widespread discrimination, an artist's true voice could still shine through their music. 15. Little Richard, the complicated king of rock and roll. Little Richard emerged as one of rock and roll's founding fathers, bringing electric energy to the stage through his catchy songs and outrageous style. His legendary hits like Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, and Good Golly Miss Molly helped define the sound of 1950s rock music, while establishing a persona that would influence generations of performers. Behind his flamboyant stage presence and glamorous rock star image, Little Richard maintained a complex relationship with his identity. Though he acknowledged same-gender attractions in various interviews, he never fully embraced his identity publicly. The extreme stigma and discrimination faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in the 1950s and 1960s made coming out virtually impossible, especially for someone at the height of popular music. Throughout his career, Little Richard experienced periods of internal conflict, particularly during his religious awakenings, when he sometimes referred to his attractions as sinful. This struggle reflected the broader challenges faced by many LGBTQ+ individuals who felt unable to fully accept themselves due to societal pressure and fear of rejection. Despite never fully coming out publicly, Little Richard's legacy extends far beyond his music. His unapologetic style and bold stage presence made him a trailblazer in both rock and roll and LGBTQ+ culture. His influence continues to inspire countless individuals to embrace their authentic selves, even in the face of adversity.